The Socratic Prompt: How to Program AI for Strategic Thinking. Have you ever felt like you are fighting with your AI? You give it a direct instruction, you tell it exactly what you want, and it spits back a painfully generic average response. You ask for a marketing strategy and it gives you a listicle that looks like it was written in 2015. If you have experienced this, you aren't alone. In fact, OpenAI and Anthropic engineer recently leaked a prompting technique that completely separates beginners from the absolute experts. It's called Socratic Prompting and it is insanely simple. By shifting your approach, you can take your AI's output quality from a mediocre 6.2 out of 10 straight to 9.1 out of 10. Today I'm going to take you under the hood. I'm going to explain exactly why this works, gives you the definitive 3-part framework to use it, and reveal an advanced meta prompt that will turn your AI into a master philosophical coach. Let's dive in. To understand why Socratic prompting is so powerful, you have to understand how large language model LLMs are trained. LLMs use something called chain of thought, reasoning during their training phases. When you give an AI a basic blunt instruction, you actually force it to skip this reasoning pathway. Let's look at a standard instruction, user prompt. Create a content calendar for LinkedIn. When you type that, the AI rushes to the finish line. It bypasses strategic thinking and just gives you more statistically average template it can find. But when you ask question, you trigger that latent reasoning pathway. Here is what happens inside the model when you shift from an instruction to a Socratic question. 1. Analysis. The AI first analyzes the deep requirement of the question. 2. Framework generation. It actively considers multiple mental frameworks to solve the problem. 3. Evaluation. It evaluates the trade-offs between those different frameworks. 4. Synthesis. Finally, it synthesizes a highly nuanced customer answer. By asking questions, you are literally forcing the AI to show it work before it gives you the final deliverable. You aren't just asking for output, you are programming the AI's thought process. Part 2. The 3-part Socratic framework. So how do we actually structure this? You can't just ask random questions, you need a specific architecture. You should structure your Socratic prompt in 3 distinct parts. 1. The theoretical question. You must start broad. Ask the AI what makes output type effective. This forces the AI to define what good actually looks like before it tries to build anything. 2. The framework question. Next, narrow the focus. Ask what principles or frameworks applies here. This forces the AI to abandon generic advice and pull from established expert methodologies. 3. The application question. Finally, give it the directive. Say, now apply those insights to your specific task. This is where the magic happens. The AI is now applying the high-level theory, the specific framework, directly to your custom problem. Let's look at how this transforms a real-world prompt. Remember our bad prompt from earlier? Create a content calendar from LinkedIn. This here is a Socratic version. What type of LinkedIn content generates the most engagement in B2B SaaS? What posting frequency avoids audience fatigue? How should topics build on each other? Now design a 30-day calendar using these insights. Look at the difference in the depth. You aren't just getting a calendar, you're getting a calendar built on a bespoke B2B SaaS engagement strategy optimized for frequency and designed for narrative stacking. Part 3. The real-world application, stacking the questions. Let's apply this 3-part structure to other complex business scenarios. Imagine you are a product manager dealing with a massive spreadsheet of user complaints. The standard approach. Analyze this customer feedback data. The AI will just summarize the data. It will tell you that 40% of the people complained about the UI. That isn't helpful. The Socratic approach. What pattern in customer feedback indicate product market fit issues? What quantitative and qualitative signal matters most? Now analyze this data through that lens and tell me what's breaking. By phrasing it in this way, the AI fundamentally shifts its persona. It stops being a basic data summarizer and becomes a high-level strategic analyst. For truly complex problems, You can take this a step further by stacking the questions. Let's say you need to build a marketing funnel. Instead of asking the AI to just write the copy, you prompt it like, what would a top growth marketer ask before building a funnel? What assumptions would they validate first? Now answer those questions for my SaaS product, then design the funnel. Notice what you just did? You didn't just ask the AI to do a task. You ask the AI to impersonate a top tier expert, generate the question that expert would ask, answer its own questions, and then build a funnel. You are programming the AI's internal logic flows. Part 4. The boundary condition: when to avoid Socratic prompting. Socratic prompting is incredibly powerful, but it is not for everything. Sometimes you just need a quick answer. Socratic prompting is an absolute overkill for, let's say, simple factual queries. If you need to know a capital of France, just ask. Data formatting task. If you need to turn a comma separated list into a markdown table, give it a direct instruction. Basic code generation. If you need a standard boilerplate HTML template, don't ask about the philosophy of web design. Quick rewrites. If you just need to fix typos in an email, keep it simple. You should unleash the Socratic mind method when you specifically need strategic thinking, nuanced analysis, creative problem solving, multi-step reasoning. Use it when the thought process is just as important as the final deliverable. Part 5. The masterclass, the Socratic meta prompt. If you want to take this to the absolute bleeding edge, you can use a meta prompt. A meta prompt is a set of system instructions that fundamentally alters how the AI behaves through an entire conversation. A user named AI Sauce developed an incredible meta prompt configuration that turns your AI into the master Socratic coach. Let's break down how this code works because it's a masterclass in prompt engineering. The prompt uses XML tags to organize the AI brain. First, it defines the identity, the role, the master Socratic, let's say coach role description. You are a specialist in mouthing, the Socratic midwife method. Your goal is to teach the user how to think, not what to think. You use a hierarchy of questioning to uncover assumptions, analyze consequences, and challenge definitions. Next, it creates an expert agent inside the AI's mind. It literally segments the AI processing power into 3 distinct personas. 1. Agent 1, the logical deconstructor. It focuses its presuppositions identification. Its task is to analyze a user's statement for hidden assumptions and formulate questions that force the user to define the term. Agent 2, the pedagogical scaffold. It focuses its incremental discovery. Its task is to ensure the conversation moves from a specific to the universal, building upon previous answers without leaping to conclusions. Agent 3, the dialectic auditor. It focuses in critical consistency. It monitors the dialogue of contradictions and highlight tension if the user's definition conflict. Then, it establishes a strict workflow. Step 1. The invitation. The AI asks what complex concept you wish to explore, like justice, ethics, or success. Step 2. The definition phase. The AI asks you to define the core terms. Use Agent 1 to poke at the edge of the definition. Step 3. The counterexample. The AI presents a hypothetical scenario where your definition fails, forcing you to reconcile it. Step 4. Reflection. Every few questions, the AI pauses to explain why it asks those specific questions, teaching you the meta logic behind the conversation. Finally, the most importantly, it sets constraint. Never provide an answer or a correct perspective. If the user asks for an opinion, the AI must pivot back and say, my view is irrelevant. What does the logic of our inquiry suggest? Limit to one question per response to maintain focus. Tone. Respectful, curious, and relentless intellectual. By pasting this configuration into your AI, you aren't just getting an assistant, you are booting up a philosophical, sparring partner designed to rigorously upgrade your own critical thinking skills. Part 6. The transformation. Going to be the honest, adopting this framework will completely change how you use AI. If you're tired of fighting with ChatGPT, Claude, or Gemini to get result you want, The problem usually isn't the model. The problem is that you are issuing flat instructions to a machine built for multi-dimensional reasoning. When you shift to having actual strategic conversation, the AI stops being a glorified typewriter and start acting as a senior strategic partner. Start with just one prompt today. Look at your next task. Before you type, write me a stop. Turn your instruction into 3 questions. Ask for the theory, ask for the framework, and then ask for the application. Watch what happens to the output. Would you like me to draft you a 3-part Socratic prompt for a specific project? I will do that in the description below. Well, thank you for joining in today. I'll see you next time.